to your respective establishments where you will have your on-the-job training. Okay, so I'm very happy, I'm very impressed, and also um, very proud, no, of all of your hard work in our recently concluded Abilidaran 2024. So, let us begin our lesson for this evening. Let me just share my screen. For a while. Load on. We are not going to finish the entire 45 slides since I have a consultation later on this evening with the masteral students who will have their final oral defense tomorrow. So we're just going to end our class early tonight since I have three masteral students nga mag-consultation me, no, right after our class. So syempre, if we are going to finish by 8, I think I won't be able to cover all of them. So we are just going to end early for tonight. Anyway, by next meeting, we are just going to continue half of the presentation, and then I will just provide you with instructions. So the remaining hours, actually, I will provide you with instructions on an activity that you're going to submit by next meeting. Okay? So welcome to lesson 2, part 2 of the cultural features of Negros Occidental, which is lesson 2, part 1 is the history and background of Sagay. So we are already done with that, no? Before the prelims pa, we are done with it. So let us now proceed now to the entire province of Negros. Now, I'm actually done with your grades. I haven't found the time yet to upload them kay medyo na busy pa mi sa activities na mo sa school, no, and then napo ko yung mga out of town nga lakaw this week. So instead I will just okay so instead I will just upload probably by Sunday once we are done with the final oral defense with the graduate school or masteral students. Okay, so let's start first with the very beginning, the introduction of Negros Occidental. So as we all know in the map, if you are familiar with the sock-shaped map of Negros Occidental, so basically our province faces the island province of Guimaras and the province of Iloilo on Panay Island to the northwest across the Panay Gulf and Guimaras Strait. Basically, we share half of the Negros Island with Negros Oriental, who are mostly Cebuano or Visayan speakers. So, ang half of it, which is Negros Occidental, ang predominant dyan nila is ang Hiligaynon. But there are cities and municipalities like namo no sa San Carlos City, Calatrava, who are facing Cebu City or Cebu province rather. That is why we are not Hiligaynon speakers, but we are mostly Bisaya, no? But we have a distinction than the true-blooded Cebuano, no? Wherein medyo malumanay ra Japon si Negrense magbisaya compare ni Cebuano or mga Sugbuanon. So Bacolod is the capital, seat of government, and most populous city of the province, but it is governed independently as a highly urbanized city. Now, um, there are instances where we don't include Bacolod City in the population, because it is the capital and the seat of government. They have their own separate census, no, for the number of inhabitants. But for the sake of, just identifying or for geographical purposes, gina-include man nato si Bacolod. But usually, separate ang census nila because it is the seat of government. Although Bacolod is our seat of government and the capital of our own province, it is still governed independently as a highly urbanized city. Now, since we have a population of 2,497,261, so this is based on outdated pa ni siya nga data, no? That current census, and hindi ba siya yung current rin kayo, but at least the recent census, nasa around 2020, 2021, we go around 2,600,000 plus, no? So gamay raman ang ning-increase from 2015. So this is actually from 2015 pa siya nga numbers, no? So even if gamay lang man ang ning saka sa ato ang population, we are still the most populated province in Western Visayas. The second most populous province in Visayas after Cebu. So if within Western Visayas, we are topmost populated province. Mas daghan pa ta og population compared to Iloilo, no? And it comes to the entire Visayas na, including Central and Eastern Visayas, so we come second right after Cebu. And we are also the 8th most populous province of the Philippines. Okay, ang presentation gahang, wait lang. Okay. So under geography, Negros Occidental is located in the western side of Negros Island. Siyempre, Western Visayas, no? We are in the western side. Si Oriental is basically part na sa Central Visayas, so sa middle. Ang Eastern, dira na ang Samar, no? Okay. So, Negros Occidental is located at the western side of Negros Island, the fourth largest island in the Philippines, with a total land area of 7,802.54 square kilometers, or 3,012.58 square miles. If we again include Bacolod, because oftentimes we exclude Bacolod since it is the seat of power, but if we include it for geographical purposes, the area of the entire province is 7,965.21 square kilometers, or 3,075.38 square miles. So, if we look at the length, no, of the province, we are approximately 375 kilometers long from north to south. So we are actually bounded by the Visayan Sea in the north, Panay Gulf on the west. So syempre, we are facing Panay, no? So Panay Gulf on the west, Negros Oriental Province and Tanyon Strait on the east, and Sulu Sea on the south. So for us, like San Carlos, Escalante Toboso, Calatrava, since we are facing Cebu province, so basically mas doon mi sa Tanyon Strait. We actually pass Tanyon Strait going to Toledo if you want to go to Cebu. And then if pa Escalante ka to Tabalan, so mo po na siya, no, agi sa Tanyon Strait. So like what I've mentioned ato pa lang sa history of Sagay, the reason why not only Sagay, no, but several towns and cities in Negros Occidental are very much abundant in agricultural products is that our soil itself is arable and ideal for agriculture. Why? Because our soil is volcanic, and that is all thanks to Mount Canlaon. So 80% of all arable land in the island region is cultivated. Although Mount Canlaon is part ato ibutang magnatungan siya between Negros Occidental and Oriental, but we can still benefit from Mount Canlaon since we are part of one island, no, one Negros Island. It's only kuan naman, no, kung sa political map, sure there are boundaries, but we are still under one island with Negros Oriental. That's why maapil pa pati ang Negros Occidental sa arable soil, no, sa ideal soil for agriculture. Now, for administrative regions, so our province is actually divided into several municipalities and cities. So we are comprised of 19 municipalities, 13 cities, and if we subdivide it further into barangays, the total would be 662. So out of all the provinces in the Philippines, we have the most chartered cities. So sa maning mga chartered cities, daghan tag na convert from municipality to barangay. Out of all the provinces, kitang pinakadaghan. So although Bacolod serves as its capital, like what I've said, sometimes it is governed separately as an urbanized city. Okay. Let's now proceed to the demographics. So, pinadiri ang population, ang names sa mga inhabitants sa Negros Occidental. So, again, like what I've said, from the 2015 census pa man ni ang 2,497,000 sa karon or sa pinaka-recent so far, mga 2020, 2021, yung saka ta at least almost 2 million, no? So, kinaaman sa mga 2 million, not 2 million, rather, sorry, 200,000. Kaya naaman ta sa at least 2,600,000, okay, katawo, no, as of 2020 to 2021. So, pila ka years sa labay, no, napuna na nga to ang population. So, we have a density of 320 inhabitants per square kilometer or 830 inhabitants per square mile. Again, Bacolod is excluded, no, sa kaninga census, but if we include Bacolod for geographical and statistical purposes, the total population of Negros Occidental, including Bacolod, is 3,059,139. Ang density niya is kada square kilometers na ay 384 katawo and kada square mile na ay 995 katawo. Okay? So, the more actually ang inhabitants per square mile or per square kilometers, the more nga daghan ang population. No? Syempre, no-brainer naman, ano. Now, under demographics, let us try to know what are we called, no? So, we go by several nga mga pangalan, no? Sometimes we're called Negrosanons. But, ang ningtatak jud sa atua as people living in Negros, we are Negrenses. So, if you've noticed, there are some, if not all, or if not majority, they rather, kaya di man jutanan. If you've noticed, there are some of the Negrenses who are from foreign ancestry. Either they are pure or mixed Austronesian heritage, Chinese, and Spanish minorities. Well, this all happened when people from Manila, kanang mga Espanyol, no, makaminyo sila og kuan Filipina, and then when they decide to venture further into other provinces because medyo gubot man sa mainland, no, so moagto jud sila dito sa medyo peaceful nga mga provinces, wala kay mga uprising. At the same time, ideal siya for agriculture. Take for example, you have the Gastons, no, originally ang yang asawa is like I think Portuguese, no. Dayon they went to they're actually from Manila, but they went to Negros Occidental because it's easier to cultivate sugar plantations there. That's the reason why that's the reason why daghan kay tag mga sugarcane plantations kay mas suitable man ang ato ang land for that kind of agricultural product. And these are mestizas, these are foreigners, and we do not know, no, ila pa yung mga anak, nakakuan pod sila, nakaasawa sila og kanang Negrense, and that's why up until today we can still see several Negrenses who are from mixed heritage, no, foreigner and Filipino, or both foreigner and decided to settle down in Negros Occidental. Now, since I've already discussed that most, no, of the municipalities and cities of Negros Occidental is facing Panay at the same are facing Panay at the same time. Ga-face pod sila sa Guimaras. And syempre mga Hiligaynon speakers man to sila, no. That is why 84% of our residents, no, of the Negrenses can speak Hiligaynon because of our linguistic ties with Iloilo. Only difference lang is with the tone, with the delivery, medyo strong, medyo bundak, no? Maghiligay nun ang mga Ilonggos in contrast to popular belief, no? I think medyo mas malumanay pud ang mga Negrenses maghiligay nun if you compare it to Ilonggos. But still, kung ikaw dili ka native speaker sa Hiligay nun, you would still find them malambing due to their tone. Now, since 84% speak Hiligay nun, Cebuano is spoken by the 16%, no, especially the cities and towns facing Tanyon Strait. Usa na mi ana. No? That's why we can speak in Bisaya. Matingala ka nga, maabot na mi og kanang kuan, ma'am. Maabot na mi og San Carlos, maabot mi Calatrava, Bisaya man ilahang language, no? Usa ra matataka kuan, usa ra mataka province. Well, it is because we are facing the island province of Cebu. Di man na ingon nga Bluetooth hang abig ning face me, I mean, atbang na mo ang Cebu province, immediately, no, that language will be transferred to us. No, syempre, the proximity pa lang daan, no, we are near Cebu province. So, people would tend to travel to Negros Occidental from time to time. And then, muna, no, na-influence na dayon ang among culture and we can speak in Bisaya. And just like the difference between the Ilonggos sa Iloilo and ang mga Hiligaynon speakers dito sa Bacolod, they have a difference in tone and delivery. Napoy difference ang mga Cebuano and ang mga Negrenses nga Bisaya. When we speak, we are far more gentler, dili pinabundak, no? Nga Cebuano kay very bundak jud kay sila, no, kanang astig kay nga kanang, I don't know, that's how I describe it, but usually bundak ilaha. If you are going to have a conversation with a Cebuano, it would feel like he is angry all the time kung ang mga Ilonggos or Hiligaynon kay murag di daw kuno kabalo masuko. But ang Cebuano, grabe, no, maski normal conversation lang, mura na siya nangitag away. Okay, unlike sa mga Negrenses, mabala na nila nga Negrense ka kay when I went to Cebu, like lahi man akong Binisaya compare sa ilaha. When I was still new, no, so karon maka-adjust naman ko, makasabay-sabay na ko. But sa una, like lahi jud, no, medyo malumanay jud mo storya ang mga, ay syempre we are still under Negros Occidental, mga malumanay man jud ang mga Hiligaynon speakers. That's why there are times nga when we speak Bisaya, we're also malumanay. But ang mga Cebuano, grabe bundak, no, very straightforward yung kay sila. Now, as for Sagay, it is actually a mixture of both Hiligaynon and Cebuano. If you can still remember, no, Sagay is considered as like a melting pot of the different cultures because of the Insular Lumber Company and the growing economy of Sagay City. So, syempre, natunga po siya kanang sa northern part si Sagay. Natunga siya between, you know, Panay and Cebu, no? That's why mix ang speakers, no? Cebuano and Hiligaynon. So, when it comes to like literary works, educational and official purposes, we basically use Filipino and English so that we can understand each other. Like ako, I can understand several Hiligaynon, no, but I cannot, like, I tried speaking the language. Before, medyo okay man, not as proficient, but okay man katong time nga nag-school up ako sa Bacolod. Every week, I had to travel to Bacolod para sa akong masteral. So, medyo I got the hang of it. So, karon nga, mostly, Bisaya speakers naman akong kasturya. So, that's why. Maglisod yun. So, Negros Occidental is the second most populous province in Visayas after Cebu. So, ato ang i-remember ha, basta gani ang pinaka-daghag population if we compare ourselves to all the provinces in Western Visayas. Kita yung pinaka number 1 sa population. But if we combine all of the other regions, like in Central Visayas, Eastern Visayas, and Western Visayas, we only come second after Cebu. Okay? So, we actually, have the second largest number of congressional districts and 7th most populous urbanized city as well. Okay? So, damo jud na mga Negrenses. When it comes to religion, guys, Catholicism is the predominant religion with over years. as you can see, no, active man ato mga Roman Catholic diocese. And kaning akong ipa-mention nga mga diocese, mo ni sila ang mga pinakadagko, no, na diocese within Negros Occidental, like Bacolod, San Carlos, and Kabangkalan. Although, no, majority or at least 2 million of us, ang religion is Roman Catholicism, napoy several major Christian denominations like Baptist churches, Aglipayan, Iglesia ni Cristo, Seventh-day Adventist, and Evangelicalism. So, kani sila guys, no, they have similarities gamay lang, no, with the Roman Catholicism, but there are some practices na to nga wala nila gina-apply. Like, they don't believe in kanang mga santos or ang uban kay di mo believe kay Mama Mary kay tawo raman siya, which is we respect it, no, although we don't necessarily agree with them because we have a different perspective in our own religion as Roman Catholics. But syempre we tolerate and we understand these people because we respect their religion. We don't have to agree with them, we just have to respect, no, their religious choices. Tay mahimo, no, kaysa mamugos jud kasi mong tinuhuan sa iya nga di man jud siya motuo, no, so ano mo explain di man jud siya, so better kana lang, no, respect his choices. Okay, so other than Christian denominations, we also have Muslim brothers and sisters who practice Islam. At least 1,842 sila tanan. Okay. Let us now proceed to the economy. Now, we often get this idea that the sugar industry is our only, okay, only source of economic growth. Well, although sugar industry is basically our major export, but we don't rely, like Negros Occidental doesn't just rely on the sugar industry, knowing that it's volatile, no? You're We are quite uncertain if booming ba Japan ang sugar industry in the months to come. That's why we don't just rely solely, or we don't just rely um purely, no, on the sugarcane industry, but we also delve into several industries like agriculture, fishing, mining, handicrafts, and even BPO. So we are going to discuss it in this chapter. So for our economy, we are dubbed as the sugar bowl of the Philippines. Our tagline is Land of Sweet Surprises. So because our sugar industry is the lifeblood of the economy of our province, and we produce more than a half of the country's sugar. There are 15 sugar centrals. Later on, you mentioned 12, no? So, gana mag-gaanam actually sila og kagamay because ka-shutdown man sila. From 15 to 12 until 10 na lang ang ga-operate Japan up until this day. So, there are 15 sugar centrals located throughout the lowland areas of the north and west of the island, stretching from northwest along the coast of Visayan Sea and Guimaras Strait. So, mga larger mills, actually, I was raised in one of the sugar mills in San Carlos City before. Pero na-shutdown na siya pagpanganak sa ako, no? Pero nag-remain na Japan mi sa abandoned na nga sugar mill because naman sila yung mga housing dira, no? Just like what happened sa katong water district code sa inyo sa Sagay nga nagpatukod si Maranyon, no, og kanang mga housing subdivisions for employees sa water district. Okay, so the larger mills in Negros Occidental is San Carlos, La Carlota, Bago, Binalbagan, Kabangkalan, Sagay, Silay, Morsha, and Victorias. Sa San Carlos class, meron siya mini city. We had a hospital, we had recreational centers, dagko ang mga balay actually, no? And then, may mga tennis courts, no? So, it was actually, I wish I could see the old San Carlos City Milling Company Incorporated, SCMCI. But when I was raised, no, nagdako na ko nga, shutdown na ang central, ang sugar company, and then gimo na lang siya og kanang murag kuan puy-anan sa mga trabahante ng sa sugar company. Up until this day, sige ba Japon na Japon gapuyo. May school actually within the sugar mill, no? Dira man ko nag-kinder, you know. So dako din siya kay merge siya og kanang mini nga syudad, no? Kato pa tong time nga part pa lang si San Carlos City ni Calatrava, but mas dali man nag-asenso si San Carlos City, that's why they separated and then later turned into a city. So moto siya ang magsentro sa syudad sa una, no, ang central. Pero current shutdown na siya. Ang school, I don't know if gasigira Japon ang school kay katong gadako ko until high school ko, college ko naraman Japon ang school, no, dito ka function naman Japon siya. Pero current shutdown na, maybe due to mismanagement. So you also have La Carlota, Binalgabagan, like what I've said, no. But out of all the 15, Victoria's Mill in Victoria City is the largest sugar mill in the country. If Insular Lumber Company is the largest lumber wood mill, no, in the world, lumber wood company rather in the world. So sa Victoria's, you can also find the world's largest integrated sugar mill and refinery. Other than sugar centrals, no, so Garilay punta sa fishing industry, which can be found in Cadiz City. And I think too even in Sagay, because your main source of living sa una before you transfer to mainland and turn into agriculture, mostly dito man jud mo sa coastline areas, and fishing ang inyuhang source of livelihood. So daghan og fish ponds, no, within Cadiz City. And then not only fishing, also there are a lot of copper mines that are located in Sipalay City. But syempre, karon wala naman siya ga function because na-shutdown naman na siya way back atong 2000. So there also exists a cottage industry which produce handicrafts made from indigenous materials. In fact, no, municipalities like Calatrava, they produce pandan bags, pandan wallets, no, any products that are made from pandan leaves. And I remember, no, I used to buy like gikan sila nga pandan bag. It's very durable. They customize it, they hand painted it with your name. Not only that, nga nagsell sila within Calatrava, they actually also export to other cities like Cebu, and then pandan bags from Calatrava lang ginagamit, and they hand painted it and sell it, no. We even do not know what if gani some of the pandan products in Kultura might be coming from Calatrava, no. Kay mo man ilang festival, no, I think kung kami sa sunflower or flowers man amo, which ironically we don't have a lot of flowers here, maybe sa una, no, that's why Pintaflores lang ipili, but karon di kayo daghan ng flowers, no, sa San Carlos City. Muna mga flowers sila is pandan. Okay, wait for a while. Okay, siyang i-charge ng laptop. Okay, let us continue. So aside from fishing, handicrafts, no, like what I've mentioned, makitaan sa Silay ang largest copper nga mine, no. So mining was also one of the industries nga nagrely ang ato ang province, no, for our economic growth. So there are several mineral deposits nga makitaan throughout the province, and that is all thanks to Mount Canlaon, no? Given that not only arable and suitable for agriculture ang ato ang soil, but the soil itself gives off several non-metallic minerals and other mineral deposits that are useful to the Negrenses. So there are actually an approximate estimate of 591 million metric tons in gold ore with copper nga ma-estimate to 591 million metric tons, and gold ore with estimated reserve of 25 million tons. Silver and molybdenum deposits are also very abundant in the province. We also have non-metallic minerals, which is used for agriculture and industrial uses. So we weren't able actually to see its full potential, great potential, they rather, because the mining company itself, no, suspended its operation in the year 2000. And it's a double-edged sword, no? When we talk about double-edged sword, although not only this provides um attention, no, to our province, kay it's a good reputation actually to have uh big corporations nga supply all throughout the Philippines and even outside of the country. So not only that's an advantage, it's also an advantage to have this kind of industry because there will be a lot of people who will be employed. But the downside of it is that, and maybe because this is the reason why they shut it down, is that it's not good for the environment. It's not sustainable. At the same time, magsigita og kalot ng kalot, no? Basically, that would cause landslides. That is not good for the community. So it's a double-edged sword. It can provide several job opportunities and opportunities to be known um, in the Philippines and even abroad. But the only setback lang is that, syempre, it's not good for the environment. It's not good for the community. Tendency it will cause to more risk and harm, no, if they siya ma-regulate properly. Okay, let us now proceed to food and agriculture. So for food and agriculture, we actually produce a lot of vegetable and fruit, vegetable crops, no, root crops rather, vegetable root crops and fruits for the entire Junatonga province. So again, like what I've said, we don't just rely on our sugar industry. We rely on several industries given nga it's very volatile. Sometimes din tumabalan ang kaswerte, no, sa pag-harvest of sugar. We really do not know, especially gamahal na ang kalamay pud karon, no. So that's why dili para less pud ang risk, we also dwell into several nga mga industries, no, like rice, sugar, no, not sugar, sorry, rice, fruits, vegetables, fruit crops. So ang output na Negros Occidental or na-produce niya atong year 2002 to 2003 naabot up to 1 million metric tons. Okay, and that can generate an annual revenue of more than 18 billion. Okay? And since we have sugar mills all throughout the province, 10 are presently operational. So milling companies like Victorias can produce, okay, 15,000 tons cane per day, and that is the highest rated capacity actually. So like what I've said, no, volatility of the sugar industry, that's why our province was forced to shift. Okay, we proceed to diversification. When we talk about diversification, our strategy is more like um instead mo focus sa usa lang ka product atong ma-produce because that is our identity as Negrenses. We are known for producing half of the country sugar. But syempre there is risk also by focusing into one product alone. That's why we diversified. We deal into other industries that are not basically, not all are related to the sugar industry. Okay? Syempre nagproduce og rice, palay, no? What else? Dire. Valued root crops. So there is actually an increase, no, because we focus also on diversification and not just focusing into one product alone. So nanatay mga hybrid rice, no? Daghan na og mga rice retailers. So from 65 to 84 percent ang sufficiency level. And when we talk about sufficiency, it means our capability or our ability to actually provide support, no, food security sa ato ang own province based on the output, no, or ang ato ang harvested agricultural products. Not only that, we are also very successful in quarantining foot and mouth disease and bird flu. That's why we are able to produce livestock and poultry in 2003. That's equivalent to 49,000 metric tons and exceed, no, ang atong pag-produce sa livestock and poultry ning exceed sa estimated demand. So ang demand lang is only 18%, probably nakaabot ta sa mga more than 18%. Okay? So maka-cater ta sa katong demand by 18%, yung tag-demand katong mga gusto mo palit, so we are able to reach that quota and even more, no? Lapas pa, may napay surplus. So fishing is also an industry where we also focus other than agriculture. So that's why 9 of its cities and 16 of municipalities throughout Negros Occidental can be located along the coastline. And there are some municipalities and cities that depend on fishing as their livelihood. Let us now proceed to culture and the arts. Okay. So for culture and the arts, we are also a center of culture and wealth, no? One of that is, syempre, the preservation of several heritage houses, no? 30 to be in fact, in Silay City. With this class, no, since we're able to preserve 30 heritage houses, we are nicknamed, or not us, rather, sorry, Silay City rather, is nicknamed as the Paris of Negros. Just like Iloilo, no, which is dubbed as syudad, syudad sang paghigugma. The reason why, City of Love, no, syudad sang paghigugma, because as we all know, diba, the City of Love or Paris, no, is very romantic, no, given its kanang marag um, architecture, no, medyo karaan na, no, nostalgic ang feels niya, no, kay sa una pa nga panahon. And we all know in Iloilo, it's not just in Silay, no, but in Iloilo, we can also see several commercial buildings or infrastructures that are actually old buildings, no. Sayang gani kay when I was growing up, no, kanang mga commercial buildings karon na mo sa una, mga karaan na sila nga buildings, no, nya wala gyud siya tarong natatarong og preserve ba. And then napoy uban nga up until karon, nag nara Japon siya, no, nag-maintain na Japon siya nga old infrastructure, pero wala siya nagamit and na-maximize into like a museum or a tourist attraction, like for example, no, our old city hall, our like the Bros Ancestral House, no, himuan na siya og kanang kuan hiding place sa kanang mga illegal activities. Wala rin siya na put into good use, diba? But sa places like cities like Iloilo and Silay, they're able to preserve their heritage houses and convert them into museums, commercial buildings, convert them into tourist attractions. That's why makita nimo nga meron siya a mixture of both modern and old, no, modern and old nga infrastructure. So, muna, Paris of Negros si Silay, while si Iloilo is the City of Love, no, syudad sang paghigugma. Because it is the cultural and artistic center of Negros Island region. Okay? Si Silay, no? It has 30 heritage houses declared by the National Historical Institute. Most notable is the Balay Negrense. Now, the heritage houses are actually donated. Ang uban gina-procure from the owners, ang uban ng owner themselves ang maoy nag-preserve ana and convert into a museum. Napoy uban nga napabayaan na lang siya, gisayangan man ang syempre ang mga associations like associations nga ga-preserve og heritage infrastructures, so sila ang maoy ning salo and they refurnished it, no, ilahang gitarong para ma-convert siya into a museum and ma-preserve siya and ma-sustain until generations to come. Okay? So, man, ang pinaka-popular actually is the Balay Negrense, no, which is also the hometown of the national artist of the Philippines. For architecture, Leandro Locsin and international mezzo-soprano Conchita Gaston. So, that is why, no, nga center po siya of culture and arts because even ang pinaka-popular no nga historical house, heritage house rather, is ang Balay Negrense. It is also a hometown of national artists and kanang mga no, mga singers, no, so mga They're more into culture and arts. So fitting ra po kayo nga gitawag siya ang Silay City as the center for culture and the arts and Paris of Negros. So not only that, no, another famous pa jud nga kung ano sa culture and preservation pod sa ato ang like mga heritage nga infrastructures. So ang it comes to the arts no more siya sa Victoria City. So within Victoria's milling company na Asilay Chapel, and within the chapel is the world famous mural of the Angry Christ. So if you try to Google the Angry Christ, you can see there it is painted in a wall behind the altar and then reaches up to the ceiling. You can see God the Father sa pinakababaw, the Holy Spirit in the middle, and God the Son, which is Jesus Christ, sa sa ubos jud no, ito sa wall. And iyang face is medyo suko siya. And meron may pagka-Picasso style nga painting, mural rather. And not only that, they make use of very bright, passionate colors like red, orange, yellow. Blue is like in contrast ano kay medyo cooling colors man na si blue, but it's also included kay syempre sa garments no ni Christ dito no, and other elements pud nga naa sa painting or sa mural rather. But it is so beautifully done nga it is known now worldwide. Okay? It is painted by Alfonso Osorio, a scion of the Osorio family who owned the mill. So, basically, no, sila ra po ang nagpaint given nga they were blessed to have a family member who is very artistic. So that also adds more to cultural features and something interesting to visit no when you go to Victoria City. So other than that, no, naapot tayo mga festivals. So the Negrenses Joie de Vivre is a manifest in the various festivals all over the province, foremost being the famous Mascara Festival of Bacolod, Pasalamat Festival of La Carlota, Bailes de Luces of La Castellana, and Pinta Flores Festival of San Carlos City. So fun fact, ang among tawag sa festival naman is Pinta Flores because Pinta means painted ones and Flores meaning flowers. So, okay. So, muna siya guys, no? Sorry, I was looking at the internet connection, sorry. So, there are several festivals actually that features the beautiful places and culture of each city. That's why every city, every municipality has the live festival. And usually a festival is in honor of their patron saint. Other than their patron saint, it's also a form of thanksgiving for good health, good harvest, no? Good life, no, sa mga locals, no, in that city as well. So, pinta sa mga is pinta, meaning painted ones. Flores, meaning flowers. So, usually, the cat suit is painted. Siya, no? Ang bodysuit has to be painted with flowers. As if gitatud ang flowers sa ilahang skin. But it's not actually in the skin. It's in the skin tone nga bodysuit. And then, not only that, for the Pinta Flores Festival, it's in honor of our patron saint, San Carlos Borromeo Cathedral. So, syempre, our city was named after our patron saint. And also, it's in honor of Princess Nabingka, which is like a fictional character. I don't know if she's real. She's a fictional character who is a princess daw, no? Because formerly we are called Nabingkalan, okay, which is the name of Princess Nabingka. Which is dira po na ang storyline na butang for Pinta Flores Festival. Okay, since daghan man kaayong mga cities and municipalities that have their own unique festival, so all of those festivals actually come together and featured in the Panaad San Negros Festival stage every April at the 25-hectare tree-lined Panaad Stadium in Bacolod. Dubbed as the Festival of Festivals, so syempre the Festival of Festivals is Panaad because it brings together the 13 cities and 19 towns. So, mura po siyang own version sa Sinulog and Pasigarbo sa Sugbo. So, ang festival sa Cebu is called Pasigarbo sa Sugbo. Pasigarbo meaning ipasikat, something to be proud of, no? Ipasikat, i-showcase, okay, mo manaming sa ipasigarbo. No? And then sa Sugbo, since other word sa Cebu is Sugbo, that's why usually mayon sila nga na sila yung maragkanta dito nga mabuhay ka Sugboanon, no? Because Sugboanon is also the people living in the province of Cebu. Okay, other than Cebu, they call it Sugbo, no? Sugbo. So sa toa, since Hiligaynon man ta, that's why we call it Panaad sa Negros. Kaya Negros, syempre, our province. Just like, gibuat nila sa Cebu, no? Nga, Sugbo ilang ipangalan. And then, Panaad, which is Hiligaynon word for vow. Okay? Or promise. So, mag-come together na sila, guys, to showcase, no? Their history, their arts, their culture, no, mga different festivals nila. Na yung mga kiosk dira also nga ginabutangan sa mga city tourism officers where they showcase also their local products, best features of the city. Okay. So since we did made mention of festivals, so the Panaad sa Negros Festival, also simply called as the Panaad Festival, sometimes spelled as Pana-Ad, is a festival held annually during the month day rather of April. So the capital of Negros Occidental in the province of the Philippines. So Bacolod siya i-held, no? So Panaad is the Hiligaynon word for vow or promise, and the festival is a form of thanksgiving to the divine providence and commemoration of a vow in exchange for a good life. So the celebration is held at the Panaad Park, which also houses the Panaad Stadium, and it's participated in by the 13 cities and 19 towns of the province. For this reason, we are called, or the Panaad ay rather, is called the mother of all festivals. O, syempre, di po mo dapat ma-confuse sa mother of all festivals po nga Sinulog, because Sinulog is also has its own criteria, no, of its own, and it's one of the oldest festivals in the Philippines. So just an additional information about the Panaad Festival. So why April? Because the original or the very first day rather nga Panaad sa Negros Festival was held at the Capitol Park no naa sa Lagoon. So sa una wala pa man ang mga Panaad Stadium. So dito pa sa Capitol, and gamay raman ang participants ana nga time. It's a 3-day affair and it started way back in April 30, 1993. So the festival was held at the lagoon fronting the provincial capital for the first 4 years. On the 5th year, since daghan naman ang nag-appeal, daghan naman ang nag-join, so nag-grew ang festival even further. That's why they decided to locate it to a more spacious place or venue, which is atong pag 1997, ang festival was held at the reclaimed area near the Breadco Port, which is now what we know today. However, wala man siya naglast sa Breadco Port or reclamation area near the Breadco Port since na-construct man pod ang Panaad Stadium and Sports Complex, which paved the way for the establishment of the Panaad Park, and that turned into the permanent home of the festival. Okay, so let us just end our discussion here since I have a consultation with my 3 masteral students for their final oral defense tomorrow. I will just have to end our class early so that I can cater them. So, karon naman na siya, no? By next meeting, we are going to finish the entire presentation, which only includes the infrastructure, landmarks, and syempre, last is ang media. So, hopefully, we're now going to finish na everything by next week so that we can move on na to a new topic. But, to make use of the remaining time, I will post a Google Classroom activity tonight, and the deadline, don't worry because medyo complex man siya gamay because it includes collage, no? So, you are going to submit that one, soft copy lang, in our Google Classroom, which you're going to submit it by next week. Okay? Is that clear, students?
Yes, Miss.